Hey there, lovely ladies. Welcome back to another episode of the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast, where we dive deep into the heart of what it means to live a life of freedom, joy, and purpose. I'm your host, Tanya Engesother, and today we're going to tackle a topic that hits too close to home for many of us: fear-based living, thinking, and leading. Sister friend, are you tired of constantly feeling like you're running on empty, trying to keep up with the demands of work, family, and everything in between? Well, it's time for a revolution, a guilt-free time revolution. Join me for my upcoming workshop, the Time Management Makeover, where I'll be sharing 4 game-changing steps to help you create more time for what matters most without the guilt. So say goodbye to overwhelm and hello to a life of balance and abundance. Ready to join the revolution? Head to the link in the show notes to reserve your spot today. And guess what? It's free. Welcome to the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast. Do you want better work-life balance? Do you get stuck in patterns of perfectionism and people-pleasing? Have you always been an overachiever but never really felt good enough, no matter how much outward success you achieve? Do you want more time for the things that matter most? Well, you are in the right place. Here on the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast, we focus on spirit-driven success and share the secrets to having better work-life balance as a busy woman in leadership. Here you will learn how to set boundaries like a boss, find peace of mind, and reclaim your time for the things that matter most. Hi, I'm Tanya, a wife, mom, leader, and certified Christian life coach. For most of my life, I tried to find worthiness through achievement. I spent decades people-pleasing and pouring myself into my work. I was looking for my value through the approval of others. This led me to feel burned out, empty, and exhausted. I had no time or energy for myself or my family. I realized that I was wasting time and energy looking for validation in all the wrong places. But my life changed when I finally surrendered and God showed me a different way. It is my mission to help you start living the abundant life God has for you. If you're ready to become fueled by grace and find freedom from people-pleasing, if you're ready to multiply your time and impact as a Christian woman in leadership, this podcast is for you. Roll up your sleeves, sister friends. It's time to get after it. You know, fear can be a sneaky little intruder in our lives, can it? It creeps in quietly, disguising itself as caution or concern, but before we know it, it's taken over our thoughts, our decisions, and even our relationships. Fear-based living is all about letting that anxiety, that need to control, dictate how we navigate through life. It's like being trapped in a never-ending cycle of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a cliff, peering into the unknown abyss below. That fluttering feeling in your stomach, that's fear. Fear-based living is like standing on the edge of that cliff every single day, paralyzed by the what-ifs and the maybes. It's living in a constant state of anticipation, waiting for the next shoe to drop. But here's the thing about fear. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it masquerades as practicality or responsibility. It whispers in our ears, telling us that if we just plan a little harder, if we just control a little more, then everything will be okay. But deep down, we know the truth. Fear is a liar. So how does fear show up in our lives? Well, it's different for each of us, but some common signs include that constant feeling of unease, that need to micromanage every aspect of our lives and even the way we interact with others, especially in our roles as parents or leaders. Have you ever found yourself trying to control every little detail, afraid that if you let go, everything will fall apart? Yeah, me too. And we talked about that in our episodes that preceded this one. Fear wears many masks, my friends, but its grip is unmistakable. It's that nagging voice in the back of your mind questioning every decision you make. It's the tightening in your chest when things don't go according to plan. And it's the walls we build around our hearts, convinced that vulnerability is synonymous with weakness. But here's the irony of fear-based living. The more we try to control, the more out of control we feel. It's a vicious cycle that leaves us exhausted and defeated, wondering if we'll ever find peace in the chaos. Here's the other thing about fear-based living. It doesn't just affect us. It seeps into every corner of our lives, wreaking havoc on our relationships and undermining our leadership. Think about it. When we're constantly operating from a place of fear, how can we expect to build trust with our teams or connect authentically with our loved ones? It's like trying to hold onto sand. It slips through our fingers no matter how tightly we grasp. Let's talk about relationships, should we? Whether it's with our spouses, our children, or our colleagues, fear has a way of poisoning the well of connection. It breeds mistrust, it stifles communication, and it leaves us feeling isolated in a big old sea of people. And as leaders, the weight of fear is even heavier. We strive to be pillars of strength, but behind closed doors, we're crumbling under the pressure to perform. We micromanage, we second guess, and we forget that true leadership is not about control. It is about empowerment and trust. But fear not, my friends, and yes, that pun was intended. There is hope, and there are steps we can take to break free from the chains of fear-based living, fear-based thinking, and fear-based leading. Here are a few practical tips to just get you started. First of all, identify your triggers. Take some time to reflect on what situations or thoughts trigger your fear response. Awareness is the first step toward change. Then name your fears. Take a moment to identify the specific fears that hold you captive. Write them down. Shine a light on them. And as you shine a light on them, watch as their power begins to diminish. You need to challenge your thoughts. When fear comes knocking, ask yourself, is this thought actually true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? More often than not, you'll find that fear is nothing more than a trickster, leading you astray. Here's a big one. You need to practice surrender. Learn to let go of the need to control everything. Remember, we cannot control the outcomes, but we can control how we respond to them. Practice gratitude. Cultivate a spirit of gratitude in your daily life, taking time each day to reflect on the blessings around you, no matter how small. Gratitude has a way of shifting our focus from fear to one of abundance. Another tip is to embrace vulnerability. Lean into vulnerability, my friends. It is not a sign of weakness. It's a testament to your courage and authenticity. Share your struggles, your fears, and your victories with those you trust. And watch as the walls come tumbling down and you actually build trust with them. Seek support. Don't be afraid to reach out for help, whether it's through counseling, coaching, or simply confiding in a trusted friend. Having support can make all the difference on the journey to freedom from fear. And finally, trust in God's plan. Lean on faith. Trust that God has a plan far greater than anything you can imagine, and if we hold too tightly to our false sense of control, we delay the goodness He has on the other side of our trust. Remember this: you are stronger than you know, braver than you believe, and loved beyond measure. Fear may knock at your door, but it's up to you whether you let it in. Choose courage, choose faith, and choose to live a life free from fear's grip. Until next time, my friends, may you walk in the light of love and the freedom of faith. And always, I pray that the Lord fills you with gratitude, peace, and His amazing grace. I pray this episode blessed you, spoke to you, or encouraged you in some way. If so, please share it with a friend and head on over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. That's the only way for me to know if you're enjoying the show. Nothing blesses me more than to hear from you. Also, come on over to our free Facebook community. This is a great place for us to support one another on our faith and leadership journeys. You can find the link to the group in the show notes or go to gracefilledleader.com/community. If you have questions or content ideas for the show, please send me a message on SpeakPipe or via email. Go to gracefilledleader.com/contact and leave a written or voice recorded message. I would love to know how I can best serve you on the podcast. Now to Him who can do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3, verse 20. Until next time, my friends, God bless.